Good afternoon. Live from CSU Bakersfield in the basement of the library. We're here for our 31st now webinar over the last 2 years. We've got a real happy and fun presentation we think for you today. It's marrying the traditional marketing with the current social media. And we got a couple of great presenters here that we expect to deliver some great content, bring some good questions. So when you have your questions, chime in. We'll get to them when we can. So welcome, everybody. I would like to welcome some of our remote sites. I know we have the Kern River Valley on, and we have our remote site in Fraser Park potentially on, some of the other sites of our 10 sites. Welcome, where you're sitting and viewing this in a webinar format. So glad to have you on board. And just a few things before we get going. My name's Kelly Bearden. I'm the director of the CSU Bakersfield Small Business Development Center. And again, welcome. So what we're going to do today is do this, but first, a word from our sponsor. For those of you that would like to do yourself a real favor and really help get your business up and growing and working on the business, tonight from CSU Bakersfield, we're starting our Fast Track Growth Venture class. For those of you that would like to attend and see what it's like, come on down tonight. You can call our office at 661-654-2856 to find out more information about it. There is potentially scholarships available for some individuals that are employers. So please check it out. Also, tomorrow in conjunction with the Kern EDC and also the County of Kern at the County Board of Supervisor facility, we're going to have a workshop on the new state business tax credits and some other things that might benefit. This is a free workshop, and it's from 9 to 10:30. You can contact and save your space by calling the Kern EDC at 661-862-5150. So a little bit about what we're going to do today is we're going to have a fun interaction between two seasoned professionals. Our seasoned professionals, we have Maureen Busher-Dang, and Marie is the president of Busher & Associates. And we also have Carlin Jones, the social media manager for Proforma. They will be going back and forth, hopefully tag teaming this thing. And Maureen also has been in business for over 25 years. She's done a variety of different things over the years, including the last 25 years experience working in the marketing realm and also as one of your SBDC consultants. Carlin is the marketing and communications director, as you see, for Proforma Progressive Marketing. Carlin brings a great deal of experience, and we're happy to have both of them. So welcome, please, Maureen and Carlin. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Kelly. So Carlin and I would like to welcome all of you to this next hour. We're going to have a lot of fun here, and we're going to end up being happy at the end, aren't we, Carlin?
Of course. I always expect blessings and happiness.
Right. You know, and before we get started, I'm willing to bet at least one or two people out there who are listening to us, when they think in terms of, marketing in general and in particular social media, they're pretty overwhelmed. We both have had clients where they throw up their hands and say, I don't even know how to keep up. You come across that, don't you?
All the time.
Yeah. And so what we want to try to do today, for those of you listening, is this is really kind of a basic webinar that we're going to try to do to kind of help bring off that ledge down a little bit and give an understanding, and maybe be able to take away one or two tools that'll be helpful for you.
Yes.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's start with the basics.
And I noticed on their screen, unfortunately, the image went up on create a plan. So we'll just have to work through that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Well, the most important thing is when starting with the basics is to define your target market and their needs, right? Target market can include age. Are they 18 to 34, or is it going to be 40 plus?
Yeah, right. So if you're a wedding vendor,
yeah,
then you kind of naturally know what your target market is, right?
Right. Or if you're a financial planner for specializing in retirement planning, you're probably going to be hitting somebody 40 plus years of age, men and women, right? We look at gender, a lot of times income level. If you're Castle and Cook and you're marketing homes out in the Seven Oaks area, you're going to have a certain income level, right? And then location. There's a lot of other things that go into it, and the needs of the target market. So you have to think in terms of that when you're trying to evaluate that.
And we'll talk a little bit about how that's done online as well as traditionally, how we have been doing it and how we've been transitioning into digital marketing.
Yeah. So it's important to know who your customer is and what their needs are. And then the next thing is to think about the best ways to reach your target market. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So you need to think through that. And then define and create your goals. It's really a planning process before that you go forward on any of this. You have to think it through.
When I help any client at the very beginning, we have to tailor it per client.
Right.
Oftentimes I'm asked for a plan. How much?
Yes.
Right. Well, we got to build a roadmap, and we have to start from scratch. And then we build up, and then within a little crawl mode as well.
Yeah.
So we got to crawl, so everybody understands what's going on as we start to build the plan.
Yeah. And then once you have that in mind, then you want to define the message that you want to put out there, right? And then refine it.
That's all part of the crawl mode.
Right.
That's my terminology for
crawl mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we always have this vernacular that we throw out there that we use.
Well, that works best with most of my clients when I say, let's just crawl, so because they're afraid. Most of my clients, when I first start talking to them, they're afraid of social media.
Sure.
They don't get it.
It's intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And so we just crawl for a while. Then we start walking.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're all running and happy.
Kind of like how a child,
Exactly.
starts out.
Exactly. We're birthing the process.
The other thing that I was thinking of too that we didn't put on there, but that's helpful is to come up with something that my professor at Cal State years ago had called a USP, or a unique selling proposition. You may know it out there as a slogan, but I'll just give you a couple of examples. One, if I say and probably if you're over 40, you'll know what this is, but the milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hands. Do you remember who's that?
The M&Ms, right?
That's right, M&Ms. In fact, that professor was the one who came up with that slogan. He was a great professor out here. Or another one that's more contemporary, Nike. It's just do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, they come up with a slogan or the USP, and that is something that we're going to talk about, having continuity through all of your messages.
Consistency with the branding, because that is the branding, not the logo. It's the impression that people have about the business.
True, but I would argue that the logo goes in with the branding.
Of course,
yeah.
It's just like if you see the Disney Mickey Mouse hat.
That's right.
If you just see a drawing of just the ears.
Yes, you know who it is.
Yeah, and then in the class I taught, I just drew up the Mickey Mouse hat on the board, and didn't obviously everybody knows what that is. The branding is. What did they feel when they saw that? And one lady raised her hand and said $700 lunches. It's so funny.
Oh God, I bet you had a lot of smiles on.
Yeah, a lot of smiles. And even when that was like a negative, right? $700 lunches.
Well, yeah,
but she was still. Everybody was laughing
that.
and happy about it anyhow. It's like you expect that though.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to compare right now. We'll give you some examples as we're going along, but we're trying to kind of lay a foundation with you right now. So we've got the traditional on one side. These are just among a lot of the traditional, more frequent ones that people use. You had pointed out yesterday when we were talking about this that everything from publications through the promotional items involve money. Whereas the face-to-face, it's if you're going maybe to a chamber function or something, or
you're buying lunch.
Yeah, well, okay, there's that too. And then, but on the social digital side, that's something different, right? One of the things that we've talked about before that you give as an example that I like is this Chamber of Commerce thing that we were talking about. So give that example as far as social media goes.
It was one of the first examples that I came up with like 6 years ago when I was first started teaching Facebook. And I was thinking how I traditionally how we market face-to-face. So we go to a mixer, and then you have the folks that grab the food and sit in the corner and watch everybody. And then you have the ones that are hyper social. They're talking to everyone. So the analogy is that you have a Facebook page, and you could have the personality of wanting to just see what's going on and not talking, and enjoying the meal. And that, but how is that working out for the business if you're there trying to gain more business? So if you're trying to gain more business on social media, it's one thing to have a site, to have your social networks, but then you got to use them and you have to go crazy in the sense that communicate. These are all communication tools.
That's right. That's exactly right. They're all communication tools. Now, one thing that we kind of joked about yesterday is you'll see that Yellow Pages is still on the traditional side. And I know you were saying, well, Yellow Pages are dead. And the thing is,
forgive me.
I forgive you. But the number one category, and sure, it's not for everybody, but the number one category in Yellow Pages still is are plumbers. Now, the other thing, though, is if you ever have a rep that you've talked to from Yellow Pages, they also now are online. They've seen the way of that it's going. Pretty soon, you were talking about that it'll be generationalized out, if that's a word that we can use. But
yeah, because everybody that has a smartphone and understands what Google does.
Yeah.
I don't need it. So
yeah.
Eventually, nobody's going to need paper.
Right.
A book of something that they open up. In fact, I found it really funny. I heard the other day on the radio a lady talking about telling her son to look something up in the encyclopedia. And her son said,
What's an encyclopedia?
What's an encyclopedia? I'll Google that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And that's the truth of it,
Yeah.
Even the idea of paper is we'll still receive things in the mail. We'll still get things that are physical that we can touch, but they're going to be tablet type technology.
Yeah. Still, too, it comes down to who your target market is and what their needs are and how to reach them.
And if you think about it, when you know your target market online, you're going to, we're now marketing mobile. Mobile's the way of the world. Everything is good. We're hitting everybody right in their hand. It used to be back when, with the Mad Men, that show that they've done about television advertising and radio advertising back in the 50s. They were trying to hit the family living room. Now we're hitting everybody individually. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different way of.
Wasn't there some research that came out just this last week that said, I think it's like 92% of, people in the country have a cell phone?
Right.
Yeah. There's more people with a cell phone.
And a flip phone is now old school.
Yeah. You're ancient if you have a flip phone. So, we're going to move on now to some common threads between the two of those.
Okay.
So let's see. There we go. Really, the common threads between traditional and digital or social or new media has a lot to do with storytelling. That's also another word for content marketing. So if you out there hear people talk about you need content, you got to do content marketing, it really boils down to being a good storyteller and trying to find good stories. I found that photo, or not a photo, but the drawing there the other day where you had a good analogy about storytelling's been around for how long?
Forever, since the beginning of mankind.
Right.
So social marketing is storytelling. That's the easiest definition I can give you. So social marketing, we're just putting marketing on there, but it's just everybody is being social and everybody's marketing themselves, whether they know it or not, by how they talk and speak, by the way they look, and how they want to brand themselves. You're branding yourself every day. And so I said this, I think, on the Open Up with Don and Tina web television show, and it just came out of my mouth. It was funny. It was like, so we've been doing social marketing since the beginning of time, when caveman picked up rock and said, "Hey, woman, I have rock. Now I'm going to draw a selfie on the cave wall of us." Right.
Well, the main thing here, though, is that we have continuity of message, no matter which one that you use. And if you use both of them, I would submit that you're going to go back and forth between the two, really, between what is considered traditional and the social media.
Of course.
You have to have continuity of the message.
Continuity, everything has to do with branding.
Okay, so let's go on now. We're going to talk about some things that you can do. Do some research, okay? look around for examples. I like to do that either if I'm driving around or if you're on the internet. You can look at things that you do like, things that you don't like. And you don't have to necessarily look in your own industry. Sometimes you can find examples in other industries.
That's right. I'm doing research on a restaurant that I'm going to be potentially working for. And I was looking at their industry and actually the food that they serve versus other restaurants and the food they served. And I found some restaurants are doing very well with social media, and it wasn't in the exact same food industry. So, but here's the best example I have. If you say, for instance, you want to sell online, you want to build a online store and sell your products online, and you've never done it before, you have some ideas. Don't start from scratch, guys. Who is the biggest online retailer there is in the world? What do you think, Maureen?
Amazon.
Amazon.com. Yeah. So there's a good example of emulating a good product, a good website that sells product very well, and just emulate it. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then you want to think in terms of how you can engage your market, right? So let's go on. The other day, remember I said when you do your own research, I do that sometimes by driving around. I went on Sunday because I had a few minutes before the farmers market after church, and I went and got my car washed, and I went through Cruise Through Car Wash.
Yeah,
you can click on that.
cruisethroughcarwash.com.
And the thing is, when I went through the car wash, they have a thing where you can pay to have your photo taken in there. All right. And so they post it, and they post this stuff on Facebook if you want to go to Facebook there. But the thing that struck me was that they do a really good job of engaging their market.
Yeah, they really do.
And they consistently post on here too. We've talked about that, where we were just talking about somebody that you had gone on and they had posted New Year's, and then I don't know, sometime in February, and then something about 2 weeks ago. It was a business.
My example for a Facebook business page is what we're looking at, is that this is your billboard online, and you're attracting thousands and thousands. In fact, they have 2,500 people that like their page. And it's like, I liken it to LA Story, where Steve Martin is pulled over on the side of the road talking to this billboard, and the billboard's talking to him. Well, this is now the technology we have is you can change this cover photo that has these 4 smiling faces. We can change that out as much as we like and think of it as your online billboard. And that talks to people and communicates and nurtures a relationship that you will eventually be doing business with them, because you've built trust through your consistency of branding and how you're talking about your business and doing brand reputation management online.
And if you go a little bit further down there, I think it was in August, this car wash had a contest where I think it was like a random act of kindness, or pay it forward. Yeah, it was the pay it forward one there. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Where they were trying to get people engaged on, posting. These are good examples. One of the biggest things that people don't think about when they're trying to engage the population on Facebook is that this is a two-way conversation. So traditional marketing in most cases is a one-way conversation. So we need to ask questions. We need to engage our following, and then we need to engage and hit the demographic outside of our business page by doing some paid advertising and hitting some different demographics, and ask questions, engage them. You want to know what your potential or your customers or your clients currently want to do with you. So you figure out how to nurture that relationship so that you can help them in a real way, and there's no hype involved. Yeah, we're going to have a few examples of that as we move on, but so we're going to go now to another slide that's going to show you a business here in Bakersfield. It's Kern Schools Federal Credit Union. I wanted to touch on multiple target markets, because a lot of times, you may have more than one market. And if you go on to their, we'll go back to that in a minute, but to their website, you can see they have everybody basically from cradle to grave. But what you're seeing on the screen right now is a pull-out section that was printed up and was put in this last Saturday's Bakersfield Californian, Um, you're fine. And the thing was, they opened up their brand new facility out there across from Hutchin Blood Bank, and in here it had information. This, we were joking. You were saying, "Well, this is old school," but you got to remember, one of their target markets is going to be people who read the newspaper,
Right.
who are over 40, for example, and maybe
You're right.
want to do some retirement planning.
And they incorporated they incorporated their social networks on
Let's go
there.
to the next one. And then we can go to the website and we can show them what they did in there with the pullout that they had. They had some ads. Now, in the ads that they had that we're going to be able to show you here in a second, but they had their different markets that they had. If you're, 18 to 34 and you're looking for a car, they had ads for cars. I guess Current Schools is having a problem on their website. Oh, well, but it's a great website.
That was just a...
Oh, okay. They had... some of the ads on there. In fact, the other thing I saw this weekend when it came out was they had an ad during one of the football games we had on. So again, it was, continuity of message, and they have the different segments for their market. Let's see, we're going to go to
This is their Instagram account.
their Instagram. Okay. And if I remember, they have Facebook too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
the reason
like
we
to
bring
see
this up is
businesses
because
on
they,
Instagram.
what's that?
I like seeing businesses use Instagram. It's
Yeah.
very powerful, very easy and simple.
Yeah.
Mobilely, you just go out, take a picture, put it on Instagram, and then
Simple.
and then it connects to Twitter and Facebook and goes out to everything, and you're done.
Yeah.
Because a lot of businesses feel social media is so time consuming they don't even try to start it. But there are so many ways to make it work for you that's not time consuming, and
Right.
Instagram is one of those.
Well, in fact, one of the things, if I remember when we were on here looking on their Facebook, they had that community recycle day, Current Schools did, and they took pictures out at the recycle day, and then they posted it on their Facebook. So that's another way of engaging and reinforcing what the message is. So getting back to effective marketing begins with a really good story, right? We're going to give you some ideas on how you're maybe sitting there thinking, okay, well, how am I going to come up with a story? I mean, I don't have a whole lot that I can think of. Well, here are some sources for you. Client testimonials.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
It is
Happy
very
pictures with people and their pets and dogs and their babies and kids, and
Yeah.
that stuff goes skyrocket, especially on Facebook,
It
where
does.
it's a social network of friends and family.
Yeah.
Twitter is public, and then you have LinkedIn. So, but all of them speak a different language, and we may get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, we will. And the thing that I come across, sometimes you probably do too, is on the client testimonials, make sure it's in the words of the client. I mean, you can kind of guide them on some of that, but I had a client one time who wanted to give everybody what he wanted them to say. And the thing is, we've all gone out there on the internet and to look for reviews on a product or a service. And you can almost tell when it's, a shill because, real people aren't always grammatically correct. They don't all talk the same way. So just keep it real.
Right.
That's one of the tips we were talking about on there is keep it real. Then the other thing is nonprofits. If you're involved in a nonprofit, for example, I'm involved with the Bearsfield Police Memorial Run Committee. We have a run coming up on November 1st, and sponsors can buy something on the back of the T-shirt. Well, okay, so if you're one of those sponsors, which by the way, there's still sponsorships open, but a little show for
Maureen.
that. But anyway,
I'm pulling my wallet out right now.
Yeah, do that, Carly. But let's say you're one of those who gets a team who goes out there, and then you take
Do a
picture
social
of it.
following.
That's right, and you post it, and it shows that you're supporting a good cause.
Right. So the whole thing is social media is about being social, and it's what you're doing. And we've been doing social marketing. We just put media into it when the internet came alive, and we had social networks. So it's the ability to tell everybody in the world what we're doing instead of just a few handful of friends that we
Right.
could go to lunch with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I got a picture there that we put on there. Now, that's from an event that was a few weeks back out at Valley Plaza. There's an organization, I don't know if anybody's heard of, I'm sure they have, it's called Dress for Success. And we have a Dress for Success Bakersfield here. And they put on a power walk. The money raised, went to help women. And what you see there was a team from Walmart. And they had put their T-shirts on. And this is one of the things that is on the
Cross
traditional
promotion,
side.
yeah. So you have all your branded T-shirts and all
Right.
your branded apparel, all that stuff, and then take pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then the branding keeps flowing on social media.
That's right. And then I know you're involved a lot with the arts, and I mean,
That's where I got my start in social media marketing is in the arts and in the nonprofits. And for the nonprofits, if you're doing social media, you're a bullhorn, right? You're getting people to the events, you're doing fundraising. So then when I moved into the business world, I realized, okay, well, how is a business becoming a bullhorn for themselves without looking narcissistic? I was like, so then what it is just simply the business already has or is going to be supporting the community. So in some way or another, they're donating money, donating volunteer time. They have their staff out going to do things with the community events. So maybe it's an arts event, maybe it's the Boys and Girls Club. And so maybe your company wants to support the Arts Fest at the Boys and Girls Club. So you go out there and your company goes out there and you take pictures of it, you follow the whole thing, you put it up on social media. And then what happens is you're starting to nurture and build trust in your community through your social networks. And they start to see what you do, they relate, they want to then do business with you because now they feel like they know you, they trust you, and they know that their money they spend with you is going to go back into these community events that you're supporting. And so that's the best way for a business to utilize social media for content marketing.
So it's not just all about me,
right?
Yeah, it shows a different facet to your company, and where it's not all that you're trying to sell.
It's just we don't want to have a post twice a day that here's our next new service. This is our next product.
We all tune out that. I know.
We do.
Yeah.
And I've gone down that route and realized, okay, this is not what it's meant for. And so making all the mistakes I've made, I've been able to become more successful.
Yeah. Well, we learn from our
right.
mistakes. Well, hopefully we do.
But we need to upgrade because otherwise we're just in a circle.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. The other thing is that we want to keep it short and sweet. A lot of times, people make stuff that's too long and complicated. So keep it short and sweet. And I do want to circle back. When you're doing testimonials, make sure it's somebody with whom your target market can relate. I mean, if you're that financial planner who's targeting people who are over 40, who are looking at trying to plan for their retirement, you're not going to feature somebody who's 18 on a cell phone.
Yeah, and also I want to mention video marketing is very important. It's probably one of the best ways in today's world to market your business online is to build a YouTube channel and do video marketing and do video testimonials. So if I'm a realtor, I should have my mobile phone with me and I should be filming a barbecue out back in the house that we just sold happy clients with them hanging out with their dogs and eating hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. So now we're going to
We're going to walk all of you through an example that came up with Houchin Community Blood Bank is the blood bank that supplies all of the blood needs for Kern County and beyond, really. And they're really good with their marketing and how they get the message out there. So they had an opportunity come up earlier this year. There was a player, soccer, good grief.
Hockey.
A hockey player here with the Condors who was, cross country and something came up and he became very ill and he, lost a lot of blood. And if it hadn't been for blood donors, he would have died. And this is a young
spewing
man.
Blood from a torn esophagus.
Yeah, it was pretty radical, let me tell you. And so there was an article in the paper. And so then Houchin got in touch with Matt Thurber. And so then what they did was they did a commercial with him. He agreed to do a testimonial. All right. And if we can go to, it's on YouTube. If we can do that while I'm talking about it here.
Okay. So,
so
if everything works, we should be able to go right to their YouTube channel.
So what he did was he talked about, what he went through. So you saw it on TV.
I'd like to help him brand that out right there.
Yeah. You saw him on TV, then they posted it on their website so people could read about it. And I don't know if anybody can hear what he's saying or not. But if not, at least you can see the video to it. We can't hear it here, but, and mind you, this is only 30 seconds long, but he's talking about what he went through. And so it's short and sweet, and it just shows you kind of what.
Obviously, this is why you wanted me to segue right into here, because I started talking about video marketing.
That's right.
It's very powerful. 30 seconds. If any of you out there have ever bought television ads, and I'll let Maureen expand about the expense of that, versus doing your own and putting your own videos together.
Yeah, that's another commercial they've got. That was also a family where they, had a need for blood, and so it talks about that. That's why that one was coming up. But we'll touch lightly a little bit before going to the Hootsuite on measurement. The thing is, with Houchin, they were able then to see, with using analytics, how many people on the website went to that page to read about Matt Thurber.
Right.
And then they could also see how many views
on YouTube.
On YouTube, that's right. And so that's
and
one
then
way
there
of
you
measuring.
have the comments and measurement of communication
Right.
on all of them.
Yes.
On all the stuff. And so so a 30-second commercial put on television, how would they measure that normally, traditionally?
Well, in this case, you would be hoping that, excuse me, during the time that it ran, that it might entice people to come in and donate more blood. So you could look in terms of, how many people did you have coming in that week?
Yeah. So making the commercial is still a good thing,
Yeah.
and having all your social links on the commercial,
Yes.
airing it locally on the normal, like we normally did traditionally, but then combining it with all your social networks and bringing that commercial and putting it on YouTube.
Yes. And see, it was a consistent message all the way through. I know they're probably
That's the most important part. Yeah.
But you have to have the continuity of message. So this is the part where people, I know we've found where their head's kind of swimming a little. It's how do I schedule all that? I don't have time. And one tool that I've come up with for my clients, and I know Carlin has some others that he uses. There's several social media management tools out there. It's something
Dashboards.
Something called Hootsuite. Yeah.
Yeah. There's Hootsuite. There's TweetDeck. Those are some of the older school ones.
Yeah.
Can I say that now?
You're looking at me when you say that. I can see that.
Yeah. So, and then my company has come out with a new format called Lead DNA, and what all these do is they bring in all of your leads, your emails, all your social networks, and for Lead DNA, it brings in all your emails to build a foundation, then connects all your social networks, and allows you to manage everything within one dashboard.
So let me give you an example on something here.
Okay.
Not to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I have a client who her company is neurofeedback.
Oh, I forgot to mention Buffer is one of my favorite ones. But
Buffer? Okay.
Yeah, Buffer.com.
So if you're writing stuff down, write down Buffer.com too. But anyway, her company is called Neurofeedback, Train Your Brain. Now, that's pretty esoteric out there. It's kind of hard to come up with a lot of things that you can post on Facebook and some of that. And it's kind of a niche, what we call a niche market, right? Well, so what I sat down with her to come up with, and she was overwhelmed with the idea of trying to put stuff regularly on Facebook. So we came up with the idea where she has all this material at her fingertips that talks in plain English that Joe Average would understand about, the benefits of neurofeedback and the research with it, and something that people might want to read. So what she did was she used Hootsuite to sit down on a Sunday afternoon, and she was able to schedule a post at whatever time she wanted to post it, like 8 a.m, Monday through Friday. Okay.
Right.
And so she used Hootsuite to do that. And then she had the link. She might say something like, here's the latest on the research for neurofeedback. Okay. And so then she would schedule it to where it would post every day. Now, the only thing when you do that, of course, is that you've got to respond. If people, remember, you've talked to Carlin about it being interactive. If you're going to do that, you're going to use this to manage it, you still got to make yourself available to answer any.
Right. You have to nurture
right.
the people you're talking to. It's communication. It's
right.
social.
But it's one way, at least, to kind of take away some of the time.
Now, that is awesome tools if you're running multiple Twitter feeds and other social networks. But if you're just using Facebook to market your business, you can do the same thing on your Facebook business page. You can post them. You can post them out throughout the whole week in one. Yeah, same thing.
So that's a good management tool for you. So we're going to go on and we're going to talk a little bit about relationship building, because I wanted to give a LinkedIn example here. And we're going to show you a little bit of traditional media that was folded into this. Mission Bank recently opened up a business banking center out in the Riverwalk area in Bakersfield. And Bob Meadows heads up that division out there. Well, I had
Good old
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy. He
Yes.
also
He's
is involved in the chamber.
Yeah, I'm an ambassador. He's the chairman of the ambassadors
Yeah.
this year, the Bakersfield Chamber.
Well, I hadn't met him, and but he sent me a LinkedIn invitation, right? And so I accepted the invitation. We both had a chance then to be able to see the background of each other, so that then when I did meet him, it's like you talked about, we already kind of had a little bit of an idea of,
Some trust, or kind of know what we do.
There was a little bit of a familiarity,
Yeah.
with that, and that was really nice to have. And he was the one who initiated it. I mean, he's all about the kind of work he does. He has to do relationship building.
Yeah, he's the face of the company.
At least out there he is.
Yeah.
And that's where that division actually has their ag and their SBA loan division, out there. And so that's really important for him to build his relationship.
So LinkedIn, and everybody asks me, so what's the difference between LinkedIn and Facebook or Twitter? And we'll just talk about those three real quickly. But LinkedIn, if it was a building that you walked into to talk to people and connect with, everybody would be in a suit and tie. And it's all business. And the greatest thing about that is that everybody expects you to be doing business on LinkedIn. So if you send messages to talk about your product, your services, they expect that. So that's because it's a business social network. And also because it's a business social network, you're going to be able to talk about your businesses during the day when people are at their cubicles in the corporate world, because they're allowed to have LinkedIn. Whereas most of them still don't have Facebook at their cubicle, but they're obviously on their mobile phone.
Yeah. You hit on video a minute ago. We're going to look at another video here.
Okay.
The website that we're going to pull up is one called Trupanion. And it markets to both pet owners as well as veterinarians. And if we can go to, the YouTube example, there's a YouTube widget. If you don't know what a widget is, it's another word that's used for the logo for that particular service. Anyway, what they do is they engage people on the website where, it's on the bottom, I think. Well, yeah, there we go.
Which one? Oh,
Yeah.
They have them embedded right here too.
Yeah, they have them embedded on their website. The one that you're going to see is it's the Jazz Hands one right here.
Now this YouTube channel is branded out nicely.
Yeah. So if you can we make it?
Can you start it over? Want me to start it over?
Now, I never get tired of watching that. And one of the things that they do on their website, how they engage their markets, is they have a section on their website there where they encourage people to do their own testimonials. I actually spent some time to kind of go through some of them. There's some really good examples in there. And the reason we bring up videos is, they're compelling.
There was no words
compelling.
in that.
No, and yet you got exactly what they're talking
I knew
about.
exactly,
That's
and
right.
they reached my heart, and now I love that dog.
Yeah, you did. Well, and didn't you say earlier, it's kids,
The kids, dogs.
and
But one of our clients at Performa is Marley's Mutts.
oh, okay.
They go gangbusters on Facebook. And it's like there's nobody that in this community that doesn't know who Marley's Mutts is.
Yeah.
And they if you look on Marley's Mutts post from their page, it usually has hundreds, if not thousands, of likes.
Happy 100th birthday.
Okay, so we're gonna show you another video.
I don't know what that was.
And this one is actually an SBDC client. It's Clear West Productions, and Brandon West had created a video for Blissful Retreat Salon and Day Spa. So we're gonna watch this.
It's It's always been a dream of mine to have a place that was spacious and a place where you can actually escape just the everydays of life.
Well, there's always a need for playlists.
My name is Kat Webb. This is Blissful Retreat Salon and Day Spa. Vision has always been a place of relaxation, a place of peace, a place where you can escape. And it was always to find a team that loved what they did and enjoyed pleasing their client. So many times you can go into places and they're just doing their job, but here it's like they are excited to be doing what they're doing. We have a private pedicure room, so you can go into a private area and have a pedicure.
Sorry about that, folks.
Well, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here.
We had 2 YouTube channels going and trying to compete with each
and
other.
Relax and wind down. Our estheticians provide so many different services, all the way to the hydrofacial, to oxygen facials, to microderm, and just simple relaxation facials. They really want to be able to educate you on your skin and what is best for it. We have highly trained makeup artists. They just love bringing out that inner beauty, and with their skill and their years experience only makes them the best. It was important for me to create a space that wasn't just great for women, but also comfortable for men. It's an environment that they can walk in and feel comfortable, and just the professionality of each one of our providers makes them feel that much more comfortable. I get the opportunity to provide a service that actually brings out the best in people, and the name embodies everything that I want to represent.
So one of the reasons that we wanted to feature that one is because, remember we had talked earlier about trying to keep it short and sweet. This video was less than 2 minutes long. It was like about a minute, 36, minute 42, something like that. And so Clear West Productions produced that for Blissful Retreats and got permission from them. So it ended up, it's like a twofer, where it was a testimonial for Clear West Productions on his website to show what he can do. And then Blissful Retreats is able to use it on their website, their social media, whatever they're doing to promote what they do.
Yeah, that's one of the key things that business has had a hard time thinking about as they're marketing themselves online using social networks is look at those businesses that you guys do business with, whether you're business to business or business to customer, whatever, and think about sharing your fellow businesses' information onto your page. It's not a bad idea.
No, it's not. Let's go. We're going to look at flexitpink.com for just a minute or so here. They're another client of SBDC. And the reason we bring that up is because we're going to go ahead and look at their blog. I'm going to submit to you that a blog is something, unless you can keep up with it on a regular basis, you don't even want to mess with it. But I will tell you, as Carlin scrolls down here for you a little bit, they post every Friday, and they do a really good job. They combine, compelling stories with some visual components.
Blogging is really a very, very important component to digital marketing. And if you are not personally writing a blog, hire a blogger. Hire a ghostwriter. Hire somebody that will blog for you and talk about your company, because blogging is one of the best ways to build organic growth and put you at the top of Google organically instead of just paying for Google AdWords.
Yeah. The flip side to it, though, is if you're not going to regularly do it, I wouldn't even, put the blog up there.
But we have to also remember that social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn are all considered microblogs. So if you need to have on your website, you need to have content that is up to date, and we need to do the little taglines that we put into our Facebook page and Twitter page and LinkedIn page, and drive the traffic back to our blog or website.
Right. What they've managed to do, and we're going to go ahead and move on from that, is that company is about 1.5 years old, and they also do a really good job with their Facebook. They've gone from 0 on Facebook. They're up to almost 5,000 people on Facebook. That's pretty incredible.
It is incredible.
But they've got a plan. That's the thing is they have a plan, and they stick to.
You have to have basically for social marketing. You have a foundation of email. Content marketing is their blogging and your writing, and then you have to consistently post once, twice a day on average on all the social networks. Now that means all the social networks that you've chosen to use, and I call it like the crawl. So maybe we're just going to try Facebook and maybe link Twitter, and we're just going to do consistently post and put content out there and nurture the people that you're wanting to talk to and build a relationship online with them so that at some point you are actually doing a physical lunch with them and business with them.
Now we bring up this next one where we're straddling between traditional media and digital. And what this is an ad that ran last week for Total Woman. It's a gym here in Bakersfield, and that was an ad that was in the paper, which is newspaper's traditional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what it is it's a member that attends Total Woman that they featured in there. Okay, so if you go to the next slide, then you'll see where, and then we can go to their website. They've taken those stories and they've turned them into ads that you can see on their website. But if you look up at the top here, that rotates, I think, through where it says Grateful Member at Linda. They put that there, but you can also see their magazine ads.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. They've taken advantage of traditional and social and web technology,
and they've integrated
digital marketing, and integrated everything. And see, the key again goes back to storytelling.
It does.
They're telling their story, and they're doing a great job of getting the word out. And then what happens, right? What's the best thing that business could have is word of mouth, right? So social media is just word of mouth on steroids.
Pretty much, huh?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a few minutes to take some questions if anybody wants to, toss us over some questions, or we're going to finish up in a minute. Let's go to the next one. We'll have just a few minutes here, but we want to kind of summarize at this point. So, we've gone through, you want to define your target market. You got to know who your customer is.
Yeah, that's true. Even before you start to talk to me, say, hey, we want to start doing social media marketing, Carlin, what we do. Well, the first thing that we've got to discuss is who your target market is, so we can figure out how to best build a roadmap for you online to hit that target market. And it may be that you don't use Facebook. It may be you only use LinkedIn. So we have to know that based on your business structure and the industry you're in.
And I need to know the same thing on the traditional side.
Exactly.
The first question that I always ask is, all right, who is your target market? You got it. That's the very basic question you got to know. And then think through ways to reach your target market or markets. Okay. Again, a lot of times you have more than one market. Define your goals. You got to decide what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And those can change too, right? It's not just to create one plan and then that's it. Then, let's see, where did I leave off at? You want to define the message you want to send, okay? And define it and refine it.
Yeah, and also, but one thing that's really cool about social media marketing that you wouldn't get if you put together a campaign for television or radio ads is that we could have done all this and then did it and it didn't really work out as great as we thought. And in social media marketing, we just stop and we redo it and put it out again, versus a 6-month contract with an advertising company that we have to pay for.
Yeah, but a lot of times, you know what? In those contracts, there is a 30-day written clause if you don't want to go through it. Nobody out there there's somebody from the California who there may be out there, they may not like that, but and I don't really advocate doing that, but that's why you want to plan ahead on stuff.
Plan ahead on everything. But my point was a social media campaign can be stopped and started over just as simple as hitting delete.
Yeah. Now, the last slide that we threw in there is, is because Kelly, our boss, likes to remind everybody of this. So, social media and customer service, right? Old school is you give somebody good service and they'll tell a friend. Give bad customer service and they'll tell 5 friends. Actually, I thought it used to be 7, but anyway. Now you give somebody bad service and they'll tell thousands of friends. Through
right, and then here's the thing: good service, you're doing your job. So a lot of people don't say great things about you when you're doing a good job. That's your job. You should be doing a good job.
Yeah.
But as soon as you do something wrong or make a mistake, it just goes all over the place.
The other thing too, because I think we got a couple minutes on. I don't know that I see any questions. A couple minutes? Okay. Yeah. Is let's talk a minute about if you are on Facebook and you get a negative review, what should you do with that, Carlin?
Oh, a negative review?
Yeah.
Oh, you just turn it around and make it become a positive.
Yeah.
So what you do is some businesses say, well, I'm just going to delete that.
And why don't we want to do that?
Because we want to show the public we're going to take care of that client.
That's right. Yeah.
And then what happens is, it's like say for instance, you get a negative review on a product, whatever generic product that is, and you actually have their phone number. You call them up and say, "Hey, can I do coffee with you?" And go buy them coffee and just discuss and sit down and real face to face, folks. We still have phones. We still can talk to people.
And it kind of goes to integrity too, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It shows that you're going to take care of business and you're not afraid to leave something up.
If my company, at Perform Progressive Marketing, if for some reason we weren't able to pull through for a client on an item, we will still do the item and provide them and show that we can do it, whether they buy it or not. So, because we're showing that we care, we really care, and we really can do it. So, and we do it. And if there's anything that ever comes negative, I find out who they are and I get a hold of them. I take action. Don't let things start a fire online. The longer you leave something like that online, the worse it gets, because people love they don't even know anything about it, but they'll just get on and like fan the negative.
Hey, you know what? We could do a whole other webinar on just this alone. I don't know. Maybe if you guys liked what we did today, and we just hit the basics, then maybe we can come back in a few months and do something on that. But the thing that we've thrown up here for you are some additional resources that you can go to online that talk about traditional and new media or digital media or social media. One of the questions that we've got here is if they'll be able to have a recording of this or get the slideshow. Kelly, can you address some of that?
Yes, I'll answer that one. We hope to have this presentation, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be up on our website on Friday, if not Friday, on Monday. Also, we have a few people that are interested in getting handouts. And if the authors agree, which I believe they have, we can actually email you a set of the handouts from today's presentation. What we ask you to do, though, is to stay on and fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. And by doing that, just put in there somewhere, yes, please send me the handouts. And we'll remember to do that. We do have one question that's popped up, and it has to deal with a marketing plan. How do I actually implement social media into my marketing plan, or do I need a social media marketing plan that's separate? A good question, by the way.
That is a good question.
So it goes back to incorporating what you're doing already and emulating it online. So what we have to do is, however we're marketing ourselves today traditionally, we have to emulate that online. So if it's your personality, if it's your marketer, your marketing director, emulating it online is what we have to do. So that might be a conversation that you can call us on after.
Sure.
Because there's a lot to emulating, and it's really just being yourself as your business and showing everybody in the world on your social networks, this is how I do business. This is what I do. These are the services. This is what I care about.
But when I'm putting a plan together, if I'm sitting down with a client, I mean, that's one of the channels of marketing, right? I mean, we go through, you segment it out in your plan.
Yep.
You know, who your target market is, how you're going to reach them, and then these are the avenues that you're going to use to reach them.
Yep.
So you incorporate it into that plan. So how are we on time here? Do we have any time for any more questions? Or are we done?
I'm done. I think we're done.
So I'm happy. Are you happy?
I'm extremely happy.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Carlin. Thank you, Maureen. And what we'd like to do is to remind you that our next webinar is coming up on October the 15th, not September the 15th. That would be a little difficult and a little long ago. But it's on October 15th, 12:05 to 1. It's on crowdfunding. Your webinar code is right there. If you would like to just go to webinar.com, put in the code, and you're in, and send us an email. There's other ways to do it. And thank you very much for attending. And for Maureen Busherdang and Carlin Jones, I'm Kelly Bearden, wishing you a good day and goodbye now.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
It was like 41 or 44 people on there.